Welcome to Box Office Recaps. Today we're going to recap the 2014 sci-fi thriller film titled Time Lapse, which was released in 2014. Spoilers ahead. As the movie starts, we are introduced to a painter who is called Finn, who is trying to paint a canvas in his apartment. Finn is the apartment complex's manager, and he lives with his girlfriend called Callie, and his best friend Jasper, who is addicted to gambling. As he goes on with his apartment managerial duties, he meets with a security guard called Big Joe, who offers to help him carry some chairs. Finn later invites him to a house party the following day. There is a moment of awkwardness when Finn informs Callie that he has invited Big Joe, and without knowing that Joe is in the house, she mentions that she thought that they were just inviting close friends. Callie also informs Finn that the landlord called to inform them that one of the tenants, Mr. Bezarides, is 2 months late on his rent. Finn lightly comments that Bezarides has been late before, while Jasper jokes that maybe he fell and can't get up. Big Joe says that he has noticed a couple of parking tickets on his car. Callie volunteers to go and check on him. She knocks on his door, but no one answers. She also finds a pile of newspapers on Mr. Bezarides' door, yet another indicator that he has not been outside for quite some time. She then uses a spare key placed near his door to gain entrance to the house. We then see Callie entering the house, which is filled with darkness. We are taken back to Finn's apartment where Jasper is playing a video game while engaging in discussion with Finn. Celie comes back in, and by the look on her face, she is worried. She takes them to Mr. Bezarides' apartment where they see a wall full of Polaroid pictures of their living room. While Jasper and Celie are still staring at the pictures, Finn notices a camera placed at Mr. Bezarides' window, at which points directly at their living room window. The camera dispenses a Polaroid picture which shows the coat rack in their living room knocked over. The group cannot recall when they knocked the coat rack over. Later that evening, Callie knocks the coat rack over as she picks her coat. They then try to match the previous picture with what just happened, and it's a perfect match. Finn suggests that it might be a coincidence, while Jasper dismisses the idea that the camera took the picture ahead of time. While still there, the camera suddenly starts making a weird noise and then takes a picture. On looking at the picture, they realize that it's a picture of them while at a party the next day. The three then manage to arrange the pictures in sequence from the previous Wednesday up to the following day when they were to hold the party. Callie also finds Mr. Bezarides' journal in which he has documented his death as seen through the camera. He refers to his death as something disturbing to his core. Mr. Bezarides has also noted down that although he believes the cardinal rule of time and causality is that one should not attempt to change the future, he is ready to take that risk considering the present circumstances. Finn has also discovered something with the pictures. All of them are taken at 8 p.m. However, some pictures are missing from the wall. Jasper is spooked when he sees a picture of Mr. Bezarides while he was holding a placard written, "If you can read this, it's tomorrow." The group then decides to check out Mr. Bezarides' storage unit. They are shocked to find his dead body in there. The body looks burnt, but his suit looked just fine and untouched. Jasper believes that Mr. Bezarides died because he broke the cardinal rule. The three then start arguing on what to do. Finn suggests that they should call the police. Jasper, in his true gambling nature, suggests that they could use the camera to foretell race results. Finn is against the idea, but Callie seems to like Jasper's idea. Later that night, they hold the party, and as Jasper and Callie are dancing with the other guests, Finn sneaks to Mr. Bezarides' house at 8 p.m. and takes a picture with his phone. He compares it with the Polaroid picture from the machine, and it's a perfect match. While he is still in the house, the camera dispenses another Polaroid picture. He takes it and sees the three of them posing for the camera. There is also a paper containing the gambling results in the picture, and a complete piece of Finn's art on the canvas. Finn rushes to the party and shows Jasper and Callie the picture. They are surprised. The next day in the morning, they are still undecided on whether to go through with Jasper's idea. Finn is still not convinced, but Callie explains to them that if they deviate from what the picture says, they would be going against the cardinal rule, and they would end up dead just like Mr. Bezarides. She also suggests that to avoid raising any suspicion, she would make it look like Mr. Bezarides was still around. She makes a list of what to do. The activities in the list include watering his plants, moving his car to avoid any more parking tickets, posting his bills, and bringing his newspapers in. Finn is finally convinced as we see him using the Polaroid picture to draw on his canvas without brainstorming. Callie also goes over to Mr. Bezarides to water his plants and bring his newspapers in, while Jasper uses the race results seen on the Polaroid picture to bet. For the next few days, the group earns a lot of money. They also manage to cover up Mr. Bezeride's death as seen in the scene where Finn lies to Big Joe that they are looking after his place because he is in the hospital. After a few days, the machine dispenses a picture that shocks them. It shows Jasper and Callie kissing while Finn is painting. Finn storms out of the room, but they still have to do as the picture says. That night, Jasper and Callie kiss while Finn paints. The kiss takes too long and Finn gets angry and goes to check the Polaroid picture that the camera has dispensed. It shows Jasper and his bookie Ivan in the apartment's living room. Finn and Callie question him whether he has told Ivan about the camera, and he says he has not. They are concerned since Ivan is dangerous, but Jasper is not concerned since Ivan's goon Marcus is not in the picture. On the next day, Jasper is anxious as he waits for Ivan. Since they have to do what the picture says, Finn and Callie leave. Ivan then arrives. He is curious about Jasper's winning streak. Jasper tries to cover it up, but Ivan's violent nature kicks in. He smashes the clock, then smashes the television as a way of threatening Jasper to tell him the secret. As he is about to smash Finn's artwork, Jasper tells him that he has a source, but he doesn't know how to explain it. Finn and Callie then arrive with the next day's picture. It shows Callie in the nude, modeling for Finn's painting, while Jasper spies on them through the mirror. Callie is upset at Jasper for his creepy behavior in the picture. The following day, Finn convinces Callie to pose as he paints. At exactly 8, they see the silhouette that was in the picture. As it turns out, it wasn't Jasper, it was Ivan. He is accompanied by his goon, Marcus. Ivan then gets to know about the camera. He forces them to make a deal that they have to pose for the photos with the gambling results daily, so he can place his bets accurately. They accept the deal. After a few days, they get a picture with a weird painting. It shows a roughly drawn skull and crossbones. Jasper believes that Finn is trying to warn them of something terrible that is about to happen. He gets so nervous that he gathers various weapons, ready to defend himself if anything happens. Later that night, Finn bumps into Big Joe, who has secured a job as a police officer. As they talk, Finn notices that Marcus is spying on them from a car in the distance. Big Joe then gives Finn his card and leaves. Later that night, Ivan and Marcus arrive and they see Big Joe's card. They are suspicious that maybe the three might have informed the police of what is going on. Ivan even threatens to torture Callie, but Jasper lies to him that the next day's photo shows his murder and Marcus would be the one to kill him. Ivan goes to Mr. Bezeride's apartment to confirm Jasper's claims. While there, Jasper stabs Marcus and kills him. When Ivan comes back, Jasper also hits him with the bat and kills him instantly. The three of them then drag the dead bodies out and hide them in Mr. Bezeride's storage unit. Finn then inquires what they should do next, and it's here that Jasper shows him the next day's picture, which shows him sitting on the couch with a pile of money in front of him. We then see the group on the next day, after they have collected all of Ivan's gambling money. Finn suggests that they should split the money and leave the country. Jasper is mad at this suggestion and says that the apartment is the safest place they could ever be as long as they can see themselves in the pictures. A few moments later, there is a knock on the door. It turns out that it's Mr. Bezeride's friend, Dr. Heidecker, who had become concerned and was looking for him. Finn and Jasper give contradicting accounts and Dr. Heidecker levels a gun at them and forces them to come out clean. Before his death, Mr. Bezerides had emailed Dr. Heidecker, informing her of his success with the camera and about his impending death. They then take her to the storage unit and she helps them realize that Mr. Bezerides actually died after a certain chemical poured over him, and not because he violated the rule of cardinals as they were thinking. Dr. Bezerides also hands them a photo which she then informs them that is for the next day. It shows his hat placed on the couch, with blood splattered on their wall. The three are even more shocked to learn that the camera can also take pictures more than 24 hours into the future. Jasper figures out that the doctor is no longer of use to them and shoots her dead using Ivan's gun. Furious at Jasper's actions, Finn resolves to move out. At exactly 8 p.m., Jasper takes the picture with Ivan's pile of money, which is exactly the same as the Polaroid picture. He is also curious about what the next day's picture looks like. The picture shows him and Callie having sex while Finn lies on the couch, unconscious. Just as Finn prepares to leave, he finds the two of them at Mr. Bezeride's and looks at the next day's picture. He gets furious. Callie leaves hastily and Finn starts talking to Jasper, even showing him the engagement ring he had bought for Callie a year ago. Adamant that they must do what the picture says, Jasper hits Finn on the head, leaving him unconscious. He then drags Finn to Mr. Bezeride's storage unit and leaves him there. Finn regains his consciousness the next morning and escapes from the storage unit using the keys he found in Mr. Bezeride's coat. He then calls Jasper from Mr. Bezeride's apartment and threatens to destroy the camera by pouring water on it. Jasper does not back down and he calls Callie. He then points the gun at her. Finn tells her to look into Jasper's pocket and she finds the engagement ring he had bought her a year ago. Within that moment, she manages to grab the gun off Jasper's hands and opens the door for Finn. Finn takes the gun and tells Callie to go pack her stuff so they can leave. As Callie is packing, Finn bends to collect some of Ivan's money that is on the table. Jasper seizes the moment and attacks him. A fight ensues, which ends up with Callie hitting Jasper on the head and she kills him. Callie then offers to get some ice for Finn's wounds. Finn follows her later only to find her going through a different drawer. She makes an excuse, but Finn is not convinced. She leads him to the bedroom and leaves him there. Finn does not stay in the bedroom for long. He heads to the living room, only to find Callie posing for the camera at 8 a.m. He is shocked since he thought the camera only takes pictures at 8 p.m. It is at this moment that everything is revealed. Initially, Finn and Callie's relationship had been a strained one. Finn seemed distant and Callie was falling out of love. Callie ended up sleeping with Jasper. All this time, Mr. Bezeride's camera had been taking pictures of their escapades. When Callie used the spare key to access Mr. Bezeride's apartment the first time, she saw the photo of her and Jasper on the wall, and she removed them as she did not want Finn to find out about their affair. She also realized that the camera was set to take pictures at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. However, she had to keep the 8 a.m. part secret since one of the pictures of herself from the following had the instructions she had to follow. The instructions were, knock coat rack over, and hide last week's daytime photos. She decided to conceal the 8 a.m. information from Finn and Jasper and pass instructions to herself secretly. Her idea to go water Mr. Bezeride's plants was a decoy so that she can take the 8 a.m. picture that contained the message from her future self. It is also revealed that the kiss she shared with Jasper for too long was an instruction from one of the 8 a.m. pictures. However, she dragged the kiss for too long to get Finn jealous and make him fight for their relationship. The day before the kiss instructions, she received a photo that instructed her to swap today's photos with the sex photo. This was also to make Finn jealous and trigger him to fight for their relationship, a move which was successful. To Callie's dismay, Finn rejects her. He wants to go and destroy the camera, but before he leaves, Callie shoots him dead. There is a splatter of blood on the wall, a perfect match with Dr. Heidecker's picture. Callie then thinks that if she puts up instructions for 8 p.m. written, "Don't get caught at the window," this will send a message to herself 24 hours ago, thus preventing these events from happening. As she waits for the camera to take the picture, Big Joe appears and asks her to open the door to their apartment. He finds dead bodies on the floor and takes Callie away. Callie is unbothered since she thinks that everything will pass once her past self finds the message she has left. As Big Joe leads her away, the message falls off the window and she tries to run to put it back. Joe runs after her and drags her away. The camera then takes his 8 p.m. picture, and before we see what is in it, the screen turns black and the movie ends. The note falling off means that the events cannot be changed, they are permanent. This has been the recap of the movie Time Lapse. Please comment on what you find interesting or shocking in this movie. Also subscribe to this channel for more recaps of your favorite movies. See you next time, and take care.